Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World Wrestling Society post-show podcast. Ladies and gentlemen of NXT Takeover's the end. This was possibly one of the best shows of the year, ladies and gentlemen. I got to give it to all the participants involved in NXT's Takeover. They really brought the house down, and it was a magnificent show from top to bottom. I have a big show for you guys today, though, and I would like to review tons of action. First things first, starting off with Ty Dillinger versus Andrade Almas, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really am pleased with Ty Dillinger as a whole, though. He's been improving massively. He's been over with the crowd as a whole, and these people have been really embracing this quote-unquote perfect 10 gimmick from the guy from Niagara Falls, Canada. Almas apparently is a former IWGP Intercontinental Champion, so this was going to be a match of epic proportions with Almas making his debut against a very over Ty Dillinger. It's pretty cool to see that, ladies and gentlemen. One of the main spots that was very noticeable was the moonsault to a standing moonsault, which was possibly one of the smoothest moves of the night. Also, as well as the picture perfect super kick while Almas was upside down on the turnbuckle. Then a handspring to a double knee in which Almas hit Ty Dillinger then to finish the match with a running double knee to the corner. Almas defeated Dillinger. In Triple H's post interview of NXT Takeover the end, he was very impressed with Dillinger and also calls Dillinger the most underrated person on the NXT roster, which I agree hands down. Dillinger has significantly improved. He's heavily over with the crowd, as well as the fact that he's just been clicking on all cylinders from top to bottom. And it's been really amazing just to see his growth as a whole and preparing for him in his next endeavors to the main roster, hopefully. The next match was American Alpha versus the Revival 2. Right now, this was the matchup between two of the best tag teams in both the main roster as well as NXT. American Alpha technically gifted with the all-American style, as well as the fact that they just managed to work so well with each other, versus the Revival, which is bare bones, Minnesota Wrecking Crew style, just brawler instincts, and you don't necessarily need any flashes throughout this entire teamwork aspect. They're just hard hits, zero flips. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I believe that Chad Gable is clearly the best technical wrestler on the face of the planet right now. Chad Gable was amazing throughout the match, though. He sold the damage that was given to him, and the fact that he did a belly-to-belly suplex reversing a powerbomb crossbody style move, which is possibly one of the most amazing spots of the night. It was great utilization of heel tactics from the Revival against American Alpha. The slingshot on Gable via the top rope, as well as the Revival neutralizing Gable throughout the entire matchup, was pretty good. The knee targeting was just a show of a hint as well. There was smooth tag team execution on both sides of the spectrum, though, and it was just excellent wherewithal of the environment that they was in, whether one person was in the ring and somebody tagging in from another point. It was a very solid matchup as a whole. The fact that the Revival ended up winning this match just proves that the Revival is the clear number one tag team in NXT today. Also, it shows that there are the best tag team on the main roster. As much as I love the New Day, ladies and gentlemen, the Revival has been a consistent basis of what tag team wrestling is all about. But there's a lot of question marks in the tag team division with NXT right now, because if you think about it, the Revival did just recently lose to the tag team of Gargano and Ciampa, so there's some questions there. Also, American Alpha can utilize their rematch clause at any point, whether it's going to be in the next few weeks or NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. But that's probably too far away from there. Nonetheless, there was a debut of a new tag team. They're not known quite yet, though, but all we know of these this new tag team is that they did attack American Alpha, and they are being managed by the great Hall of Famer Paul Erling, who is also a Minnesota born, a former manager of the Disciples of the Apocalypse, the Road Warriors, Jake Roberts, Abdullah the Butcher. He's WWE Hall of Famer class of 2011, and he's managing these young guys who look very impressive even after that attack towards American Alpha. It was a really good show of enhancing a new storyline in which we may see just straight up no nonsense, hard hitting tag team action between these new guys and possibly the revival coming up for the near future at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. We may not know that for sure, but at the same time, this is going to be one of the most exciting shows that's going to lead off the SummerSlam weekend. The next match that was after the Tag Team Championship match was Austin Aries versus Shinsuke Nakamura. In my opinion, this match was a straight up tactician's duel. It was combining the fact that both of these guys have a tendency of utilizing their major strengths. Austin Aries, he knows how to utilize one person's strength and make it into a weakness, as well as Shinsuke Nakamura, who has the most deadliest strikes in the WWE today. People say that The Undertaker is the best pure striker in wrestling today, but that title goes to Nakamura. With those knees and those kicks and forearms, he has a tendency of just breaking down his opponents piece by piece by piece. This was an exciting match throughout the night. Austin Aries managed to neutralize Nakamura by attacking the knee area, though, but that unfortunately wasn't number one. There was this one really sick spot that had Austin Aries hit a discus forearm, which led Nakamura to going outside the ring. Then Austin Aries hits a first rope dive, suicide dive, in which it had it was a great effect throughout the entire match, though, that made sure. But Nakamura tends to come back. He managed to reverse multiple moves, like utilize his underrated submission ability, managed to take a Death Valley driver to the apron, and still managed to win the match with the Kinshai with his running knee, defeating Austin Aries in the process. This was a good back and forth match. This match wasn't better than the match that Zayn and Nakamura had at NXT TakeOver Dallas, but this match is easily a 4-star match minimum. Same with the tag team match as well. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. I am kind of losing my voice at the moment. Pardon me. Moving forward, we have Asuka versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax in this match she had to elevate her game against a very solid wrestler in Asuka as a whole. And Nia Jax, she truly delivered. She utilized her power. She showed her ability and agility in the ring that's perfect, and she maintained a competitive nature in the match where it didn't seem like she was dragging throughout the match. She managed to keep up speed-wise with Asuka, and it was pretty solid just to see how she managed to actually try to get out of one move by rolling out of a armbar, which was pretty solid. Nia looked dominant throughout the match, though, and this match did its favor by having Asuka retain the championship, but making Nia look strong in the process. I have the feeling that this rivalry as a whole is not over. I'm thinking Bayley and Asuka will probably have their rematch at SummerSlam, but I'm thinking, TakeOver Brooklyn, which is on the same weekend as SummerSlam. But I feel that at this point right now, Nia Jax is a close number one contender after her performance tonight. It was a very stellar performance, and those two really gave the fans a show. Overall, I would give that match a solid 4 because it was solid back and forth action. They told a great story. This was one of the first times that Asuka was actually challenged. As much as I really do enjoy Bayley as a whole and her match at Takeover Dallas, though, but this match was truly Asuka's biggest challenge, and she really delivered in the best way possible. And it was a really solid match from the get-go. Also, there was a Bobby Roode sighting at NXT Takeover the end, right during William Regal's interview, and also like prior to the match between Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. This was a very good back and forth match. If this was the final match between these two, let it be, because that was a solid match from the coup de grace spot to many close calls with the cage, as well as the final Samoa Joe hitting the muscle buster off the top rope onto Finn Balor getting the final victory. Honestly, if this is the final match between Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, this truly was an amazing match between these two because they managed to maintain an intensity throughout the match without it slowing down by any means. Unlike the Asylum match, which was 30 plus minutes long and managed to drag for mid part of the match and it didn't get interesting to the last 6-7 minutes of the match. But this match, in NXT's first cage match, they managed to elevate the game just a little bit higher, and Finn Balor and Samoa Joe did a stellar and fascinating job by doing that. And I don't know what this means for Finn Balor as a whole when it comes to main roster aspirations, since the brand extension is coming up soon, but at the same time I'm really excited to see what direction that Finn Balor is going to go to, whether it's going to be one of the one of the marquee guys on Monday Night Raw, or joining the club with AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows. It's going to be amazing to see what Finn Balor is going for next. Also, the NXT title picture is looking a little bit clear since Finn Balor is out of the question. Will it be Nakamura versus Joe at NXT Takeover Brooklyn? Well, to be honest with you guys, I hope that does happen, because if it does happen, it's going to be one of the top matches of the year. It's G1 climax worthy, ladies and gentlemen, and this could be something huge to set the weekend off right for SummerSlam at TakeOver Brooklyn. Other than that, this has been one of the best shows of the year for WWE. Out of a 10, I give it a solid 9. Everybody brought their A game. The match of the night was clearly Aries versus Nakamura. And there was a lot of close runner-ups in this match, though, but I have to give the runner-up to American Alpha versus the Revival, because those two teams proved to the world that they are the top 2 teams in professional wrestling today. In a very heavy tag team world right now, with what's going down in Ring of Honor, what's going down in the junior and heavyweight divisions of New Japan, as well as TNAs with Decay and everybody else that's going down right there. They're trying to prove to everybody that they're the top 2 tag teams in the world today, and they surely did that. Asuka and Nia Jax was a solid match. I give that a 4. Joe versus Balor, I give that a 4 as well. Andrade versus Dillinger, I give that a 3. It would have been more if they would have had a little bit more time, but the time that was given to them, they managed to utilize it pretty well. Overall, NXT TakeOver the End was possibly one of the best shows of the year. It doesn't quite beat Wrestle Kingdom 10, but it surely does beat WrestleMania 32. In 2 weeks, I will be reviewing Money in the Bank 2016 live in Paradise, Nevada, home of the new T-Mobile Arena, where we have multiple events Well, we have the six-man Money in the Bank ladder match between Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cesaro. I'm blanking on the names, ladies and gentlemen. Dean Ambrose. And I swear, why am I blanking on the names? It's a long night, ladies and gentlemen. But including, if you know the name, please put it on the comments. I am slipping because I am sleepy as heck right now. Then we have the dream match that's 7 to 10 years in the making. You have WWE's number one guy in John Cena versus TNA's former number one guy in AJ Styles. Two contrasting styles going head to head, and possibly one of the biggest matches in recent WWE memory as a whole between two participants. And this could very well set the pace for the new era as well as the brand extension as well. Then we have for sure Titus O'Neil versus Rusev competing at Money in the Bank, which is huge because after the whole Titus O'Neil situation with his suspension, we getting a chance to see Titus O'Neil compete against Rusev, and hopefully that will lead to a U.S. championship in Titus's favor. And also, let's not forget about the WWE Championship. Rollins versus Reigns for the first time in singles action on pay-per-view. We have Roman Reigns, a three-time WWE champion who has managed to defeat Triple H, who has defeated Sheamus, who has competed in a 30-man Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship and managed to lose it, but at the same time has been one of the consistent ring workers in the business today. Love him or hate him, ladies and gentlemen, he has been a convincing champion nonetheless, versus Seth Rollins, who came back in 7 months after an injury that usually has a 9 to 12 month time span of recovery. He came back in 7 months to challenge for the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank, a championship in which he had to forfeit back in September of 2015 due to the injuries of his ACL and his MCL. We get to see those marquee matches as well. There's also tag team matches that's going to be happening. There's possibilities between the Vaudevillains, the Dudleys, the Club, Enzo and Big Cass. There's a wide open tag team division. We have a women's division. The rivalry between Natalya and Charlotte doesn't seem to be over quite yet, but adding Becky Lynch and Dana Brooke to it, it could very well be a fatal four-way. It could be a tag team match for all we know. But right now, it's at the point where Money in the Bank is looking pretty stacked, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm excited to see what does Money in the Bank have store for us, the WWE Universe. And I will be reviewing the match post-show live here on the World Wrestling Society podcast channel. Signing off for the World Wrestling Society page, I am Brandon Gordon, aka LEK. Thank you for your time. Support your wrestling. Have a good rest of your evening or days or whenever you are watching this time. God bless, Godspeed, and thank you.